Hey, what's going on, friend? Juan Pablo here. Yes, this is me again. Thank you so much for watching the previous webinar. As you can see, I like to do a lot of webinars and trainings and videos simply because I just want to get back. I had a mentor, fortunate enough for me, who was able to give back and provide me with insight on how to invest in multi-unit properties. So I wanted to share that same mindset, right, with you. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. And by the way, all these webinars and trainings have been packed houses. No pun intended. But speaking of houses, I've been getting a lot of requests. And I'm actually looking at one now. I received requests on how to walk someone through a deal using 100% finance. But you know what? I'm going to do one better. I'm actually going to show you not only how to acquire the property using little to no money out of your pocket, hence 100% financing, but also how to exit out of it. How do you get out of that 100% financing? So that's what I'm going to share with you today. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to obtain a multi-unit property using little to none of your own cash out of pocket, as well as how to exit out the business credit. Got it? Good. So this is the exact method I use for one of my clients to help him acquire his own multi-unit property. Now, before we get into this, please understand that I'm going to discuss with you the success of this client. And the reason why I'm telling you about the success of this client is to illustrate the methods that I'm teaching you now in this video. I'm going to give you the context pretty much of how these methods work in the real world. Now, I'm not sitting across from you, right? You watch me on this training. I'm not sitting across from you. So I don't know your experience. I don't know how deep your pockets are. I don't know how good your credit is or none of the sort. I don't know that. Plus, I'm not sure what you're going to do moving forward with watching this training, right? So I just want to let you know that there's no implication that this works for just a certain type of investor, because many people think that, oh, you got to have this credit score and this and this. Hey, I really don't know your situation, all right? But I'm just trying to give you some information just to help guide you along the way. So hopefully you'll be able to grab on to what you've learned in these trainings and take action. Does that sound good? Sure it does. So I'm going to show you what worked so you can learn and apply it to your own investment strategy so you too can have cash flowing properties. Great. Now we get that out of the way. So I had this guy send me a message, right? And he said he'd like to be a client, and I thought it would be great. So I walked him through the process that I've shown you, and it was on from there, on and popping. So to protect his identity, let's call him Dwayne Monster, all right? Because he's a monster with cash flow now. He's been buying properties after properties. As a result of this training that I'm about to share with you, the exit strategy was extremely important. It's like playing a game of Monopoly, but in real life. So Dwayne, just give you some history about him. He's kind of old school, all right, and somewhat of a control freak, to say the least. Where he wanted to buy properties in his backyard, about 30 minutes driving from where he lived, using all savings because he didn't trust teams to help him manage or acquire his properties because he wanted to do it all himself, right? So there's a control freak factor there. And plus, he was skeptical about buying properties out of state. Again, being a control freak, he needed to see the eyes on his property whenever he wants to, just to drop by. But it's not like you can take a flight, right? But he just wanted to make sure it was in close proximity to the deal that he was purchasing. And the other thing about him is this. He had a pretty 800 FICO score, pretty credit, that Holly Berry credit, so pretty, so fine. All the banks, all the lenders want to say yes to his deals. However, he wanted that pretty credit score just to sit somewhere high on a shelf. Meaning, in other words, he didn't want to put it to use. What's the point of having an 800 credit score and not leveraging it for business use so that you can get a multi-unit property using little to none of your own cash out of pocket? So those were some of the things that was going on with Dwayne. So just for you, just as a tangent, make sure you use your credit and leverage it. All right, just don't have it sitting pretty on the shelf. Actually put it to work. So Dwayne and I, and some other people, we had some group calls together, and he began to hear of other success, especially from those who were less experienced than him and had less capital and a less credit score than him, obtaining cash flowing properties in other markets because they were more profitable using little to none of their own cash. Well, because they didn't have their own cash, so they were forced to leverage their credit, right? They were in somewhat of a limited situation. They didn't have the 800 credit score, but they had a 680 and were willing to leverage that into business credit to acquire these multi-unit properties in more profitable markets because it was more affordable to buy the properties. And if you have the cash, don't get me wrong, use it. All right, cash is always king, but credit is queen. Okay, so just some of the things that Dwayne was going through, just being in these group meetings and group calls, he was able to learn a lot from other people's successes. All right, so after the group call, he tagged me in the Facebook, in our closed Facebook group, reached out to me and letting me know that he was ready. I guess as a result of hearing other people's successes. So thus we got him a round of business credit, pre-qualified for him for a mortgage. That's phase one, find the money, right? And started finding deals that fit his pockets. Make sense? Now, Dwayne Monster was able to obtain his first deal out of state, a 5-unit multi-unit property, and he got it pretty much using our system. And we also taught him how to get out of the financing, let's say business credit, as well by leveraging the performance of the asset. So I've taught this system to my team, my internal team at 100% Finance, so they too can implement it for our clients, right? Because I have to make sure I document all the processes step by step, share with them all the intricate details, so that way they too can do it on behalf of our clients, like Dwayne Monster. Almost messed up and said his real name. So I like you to watch this training. It can be found nowhere on the internet. It's a private video, but I'm just making it available for you because I'm sure you're an avid learner. You want to get this stuff of Dwayne Monster's 5-unit property that he bought out of state and how he got out of the 100% financing. So let's take a look and get your pen and pad ready because we're going to dive deep into this training. Check it out.
How to exit out of business credit. Exit out of business credit, right? Just using his own property. Okay, so let's imagine that we're obtaining a 5-unit apartment building for $100,000. $100,000. Okay. So what should be the asking price? The asking price that the seller wants is $100,000, right? You got it. So that's the price that's on the listing. So let's say 100,000. Now, what should be the purchase price?
85 to 90.
85 to 90. But how much you think we should start at?
80.
80.
You got to negotiate because we always want 10 to 15% built-in equity.
Great. So what I have on the sample LOI that I have for the MAP students, I gave them that equation. Just 80. Start off with 80%. Okay. So what's 80% of the asking price?
80,000.
80,000. So they want 100,000. We're going to see if we can get it for 80,000 under contract. So let me ask you this: what would be the mortgage amount if there's a 80% LTV? And what's LTV mean?
Loan.
Okay. So what would be the mortgage amount?
64.
There you go. So 64,000. So that would be the loan amount, mortgage amount. Good morning. So this would be the loan amount right here. You got it? All right, so what would be the down payment amount that we have to bring to the table?
20%. What we doing? Basic, no seller financing?
Correct, no seller financing, just BC, business credit.
20%.
Yep.
2016.
16,000. Two, I got that from 20%. If this is 80%, that's 20%. You got it?
Oh, got it. Okay.
20% down
From the
payment.
purchase price.
There's
Got
no
it.
seller financing in this scenario. I'm giving you Dwayne's deal. Okay, so this is a real life scenario.
Oh, got it.
So he didn't have any seller financing simply because this is very small loan amount. So you guys follow? 16 plus 64 is 80. So we didn't include soft costs, closing costs, or reserves. Okay, we're only talking about just acquiring the property. You got it? So in this scenario, it's 100% finance. You see this? Okay, so let's say we held this property for a year. So typically, if you hold a property for 6 months to a year, you can move forward with a refinance. Okay? And the benefits of refinancing is you can get access to that equity that you have. Okay. All right, now let's say we're in a year from now. Let's say it's 2019. And let's say the appraised value will be what? Assuming that there was no market appreciation, no forced appreciation, which we also can leverage. But let's say off the strength of, let's say we exclude those two things, market appreciation and forcing appreciation, what would be the appraised value of this property?
100K?
100K. Let's say it's 100K. Right. It could be more. Could be less. But let's say it's 100K. This should show you the math. Okay, so with a mortgage company, when they do a refinance, they'll give you 80% of the appraised value minus the loan amount, the mortgage amount.
80%.
So what's 80% of the appraised value?
80,000.
80,000. Okay, so what will be the mortgage amount again?
64.
Right here, right? So how much can we pull out in equity from a cash out refinance?
80% of what's left over was 16.
16. Do you guys see what just happened?
Yeah,
What just happened, Chastity?
you got your down payment back.
Got my down payment back. So I pulled the $16,000 from the equity right here. Pull it from here. And we take this and we can pay off the business credit. And
It's
she's
really
like,
gonna be a little bit more
oh.
too, right? Because
She's like,
we
what?
would've
Say it again?
paid- I said it's really gonna be a little bit more because we would have paid down some of the mortgage amount for that year.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I said, just excluding, there's gonna be soft costs, there's gonna be closing costs, we're gonna have reserves. We may have principal pay down, which ties the same. We pay down our mortgage for a whole year. You might have market appreciation, we might have did a rent increase. Yeah, so a lot of factors, but you also have closing costs in here. So there's a lot of factors, but just to give you guys just an overview, that's pretty much what you do. So with this, you do require some docs.
We can provide like
Meaning
a
like-
tax return or something like that.
Yes, you're right. Tax returns. You might have to have docs on your properties, like leases and all that stuff. What else? Why do we offer low doc mortgage?
Oh, capital.
Specify.
Approving capital, basically, or like a paper trail, or is that right?
Why do people go through a low doc mortgage?
Sometimes it's because of their credit. Sometimes it's because they don't have the documentation.
So we talked about docs right here.
Mm-hmm.
Credit. What else? There's one more thing, especially for refinances. Too many
We can
houses.
have the reserves. for each-
Reserves.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was.
Oh, the reserves per,
Good job. So with the conventional mortgages, that's just going to a traditional mortgage lender who's backed by Fannie and Freddie. That's the secondary mortgage market, which basically kind of polices how mortgages can be sold and so forth. So they have a lot of requirements to minimize the risk, right? So to minimize risk, what they do is they want to have reserve requirements, meaning for residential property owners, you got to have 6 months of reserves. Operating is a reserve, so taxes, insurance, property management, any type of expense you incur to operate a property, you got to have 6 months per property. So he's in New York. So if he has 2 brownstones, and let's say he's getting $5,000 in revenue from each property, that's $10,000 collectively times 6 months. That's $60,000 he gets to have in the reserves, proving it, just so he can pull out the equity. It's crazy. So that's why I say you might do residential for a while, but multifamily is the fastest way to financial freedom. It's less stringent. They don't care about you per se. Of course, they ask some questions. They might run your credit, but it's not as stringent as residential. Residential is not designed for investors unless you just want to wholesale and fix and flip, but not for buy and hold strategy. Okay, because you run into stuff like this, having reserves for each property, which is ridiculous. You need to have 6 months in the bank of reserves. So Dwayne Foster moved forward with us for a low doc because our low doc mortgage does not have any reserve requirements. 0. So he had no other option but to go through us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this is ideal, simply for that purposes, the reserve requirements. So before I conclude this, I want to go over here things to consider. The cash flow analysis is one thing you have to consider before and after, right? So with these 2 models right here, there's nothing stated about cash flow, correct? I didn't say what the cost per door would be. I didn't say anything about you getting $200 per unit. This is only extra strategy, just what I'm discussing here. How to exit out expensive financing business credit. Okay, So the thing to consider is before you even buy this property in 2018, you want to do the cash flow analysis before and after. So what would be the cash flow of this model using a mortgage and business credit, and what would be the cash flow analysis if I use this model? Because now we have a higher loan, correct? Because if you guys didn't notice, in year 0, 2018, the mortgage amount was 64. So what would be the mortgage amount in 2019? Who got it? Give me a number. What's the mortgage amount in 2019?
80.
Correct. Great job, Chester. Right here. So what that means is we have an increase in the mortgage payment, right? So you have to do that analysis beforehand. But the great thing is we don't have this anymore. I would rather get this simply because the debt service is cheaper. This will be 5% interest rate amortized over 20 years, right? Business credit, after that year, that 0% wears off, that can be 18% interest rate.
Yeah.
It's more expensive.
Right.
So this will be less expensive as a payment. So I'd rather use this any day. I use the cheapest debt possible, which is a mortgage. Especially in the time now we're in. That's why I think everyone should be buying properties left and right, because we're in a perfect storm. Interest rates are still low, and the property values are still low. So it's like I don't see why people aren't buying.
So with cash out refis, are the interest rates generally higher than a traditional?
Oh no, it could be the same.
Okay.
Interest rates are pretty much the same. It's just whatever is set by the Treasury bill. They determine the interest rates.
Even if you do take a low doc route and don't have all the documentation?
Oh, if you take low doc route, then that'll be different.
Okay.
Our low doc is actually, yeah, it's a higher interest rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's since you're
But
more of
it's
a risk.
still lower than
Right.
business
It's another business credit.
Correct.
Yes, it is.
Dwayne's was like 7% change, right?
7%. Yep.
Okay.
Amortized over 20 or 30 years, so it's still cheaper than whatever business credit could be.
Right.
24% interest rate. Yep. So that's one thing to consider: the cash flow analysis before and after. So you want to do you put this property through the deal analyzer, going over the cash flow, meaning what's the rents minus taxes, insurance, blah blah blah, and then you want to do the same thing once you refinance out of it and do this model. So you want to do the cash flow analysis before and after. And another thing I like to do is I always like to have more than one way to get out of financing. I just don't want to rely on just one form of just a cash out refinance, because what if the market tanks? How am I going to do a cash out refinance if the market tanks? Right, kind of hard to do. So all I like to do is be aggressive with the debt pay down. So the cash flow that I receive from the property, like I say a lot, and I say to the students, if you don't need it, don't eat it. Every dollar you get from cash flow, just pour it onto the debt service, the business credit, or whatever other debt service you may have. Whether it's a loan, however you finance a property, until you're financially free, you should not eat your cash flow, period. So that's why I was able to quit my job in 4 years. I didn't eat my cash flow. I continue to reinvest my earnings, okay, to pay down debt, to use towards reserves, as well as to use towards down payment money for acquiring other properties.
How long do you do that? Just until you do the cash out refinance?
You don't eat a period. Until you're able to quit your job from having enough passive income that exceeds your paycheck, then you shouldn't eat your cash flow, period. You should always reinvest it. Because in my opinion, the cash flow you receive is seed money, not harvest. Seeds, you plant into the ground to get an abundant harvest. Same thing with your capital. The capital you have access to, the cash flow you have access to, the earned income you have access to, is all seed money. You plant it or you invest it into the ground to receive a harvest. Right? To the point you have a whole forest, then you can chill in the shade.
So if this were your deal and you did get the cash out refi of $16,000, what would you do with that $16,000? Would you reinvest it into another property, or would you pay down?
Yeah, business credit.
That's a great question. That's called what's the term? Comparative analysis.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing when I had business credit cards, and I realized, what was this, in 2015 or 2016? I might have had $200,000 worth of business credit card debt, and I decided, well, what do I want to do for this $30,000 I got? Would I rather use this to pay down business credit, or use this to acquire a deal? And so I did the analysis, and I realized, oh, I'll get a higher return on my capital if I just pay down business credit. Right? If I took $20,000, let's say I had $30,000, or $20,000, I could probably do the math in my head with that. Let's say I had $20,000 to have access to. I'll write it down so y'all can see it. So I'm just having it in my head. So I see it visually.
Turn the other way around.
Which way? Oh. So let's say I had $20,000. So we're about to calculate the cash on cash return. And this model here is business credit. And this one is, let's say, real estate, buy another property. Same $20,000. Now, if I happen to take that $20,000 and pay off business credit, let's say that saved me $200 a month. What's $200 a month times 12?
24.
24. Correct. Now, let's say I had $20,000 and I bought a property, but I'm only getting $100 cash flow per door. Okay? And let's say it's just a single family, whatever it is. So what would be the cash flow for the year for that property? $1,200. So $100
Oh,
per month.
It's one door.
One door. $100 per month times 12. 1,200. So where's my return here? 2,400 divided by 20,000.
12.
So 12?
12.
Yeah, it's pretty much 24 divided by 2.
Yeah.
Math is easy, right? So what does that mean? Now what's 12 over 20?
26.
Right, half of that. All right, so let me ask you guys this. Which one, now this represents your cash on cash return. Which one would you rather have? A 12% return on your money or a 6%?
12.
And it's 12%, meaning that's how much you paid off of the business credit?
No. Cash on cash return means this in layman's terms. How long does it take for my cash to return back to me? So if I invested $20,000 and I'm making $2,400 a year, it would take me maybe less than 10 years, about 9 years to get my money back. You guys following? So that's what that means, cash and cash return. So what you want to do with cash and cash return, the higher the better. Because if you have 100% cash and cash return, what does that mean? In a year. So you're getting your initial investment back in a year's time. If you have a 50% cash and cash return, when do you get your money back?
2 years.
2 years. 33%. 3. So I tell the students what? 15.
It's about 6.5, right?
Right. For your initial investment. So if I had an initial investment of 20,000,
Floyd on math.
right. If I had an initial investment of 20,000 and I paid off business credit, I'll have a 12% return. But if I know if I had 20,000 and I put it in real estate, I would get a 6% return. So I did the math. Sorry. So I did the math and realized it'll be better for me to pay down business credit than to reinvest into a property. But there's still other factors too. Other factors involve.
Yeah, interest rate.
So this I would get a better return. But in this model, if I have multiple doors, I can increase the rents. I mean, I can increase my cash flow from 1,200 to maybe 1,600, and then to 2,000.
But I have to, that.
Right. Then I have the natural appreciation in our market as well, which will help me get more value, and I might be able to do refinancing to get access to more capital. So there's many things to consider. This model, like people say, live below your means. That's what this is. You know, pay down business credit. That's easy. Anybody can do that. Anybody can get some capital and pay down debt. That doesn't take a genius to do that. But to do this, it has many other benefits outside of just getting $1,200 cash flow. But I said, you know what? So I had to think in my head, what do I want to do? I said, you know what I'll do in 2015, I'll pay down the debt, and then I use partners to get real estate. So that way I don't have to use my own money. So that way I can still get properties and increase my portfolio, but still pay down debt. So business credit is just to get you in the door. And then you want to focus on getting out of it. So that's what pulls back into this. Be aggressive with the debt pay down as well. So every cash flow I receive, I won't need it, I'll pay it towards debt. So I can have more than one strategy in place. Okay, and we also talked about this. Other things to consider: principal pay down, higher appreciation. You use business credit simply because, yes, to get in the door because you lack credibility. You have no one else that want to partner with you.
Yeah.
It's like if Alexa said, "Oh yeah, I'll partner with you, Juan. Wait, hold on. You don't got no deals? Wait, hold on. I got the money, but you don't. So we're in the same position, right? We're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Only difference is you broke. So why on earth would I invest with someone who broke? So you can experiment with my money? That's how most people think. They might not say that verbally, but that's how they think. Oh, no, I'm fine. People only want to partner with you after you proven yourself successful. So you use business credit to the point where you have the clout, you have the credibility
Cloud.
to be able to raise money.
Yeah.
So after that, because if you do with partners, you can negotiate better terms than business credit. And then you can use business credit for the sole purposes of reserves. Just in case if a roof gets replaced or gets needs repaired, then I can use business credit for that purpose. Yeah. Or if you want to use it for business use as well, like Facebook ads, for example. Let's say if I know I'm getting a 3-to-1 return on Facebook ads. So yeah, I use a business credit card and front $1,000 in Facebook ads if I know I'm gonna make $3,000 on the back end.
So would it be?
So that makes sense. Or if you're doing trading, a lot of people do trading as well. If they know the game and they know their returns, then business credit will be useful for that.
So would it still hurt your personal credit profile if you close that actual credit card account that you got and then?
I'll say keep it open. Just keep it open. If you have a zero balance, they might just charge us a yearly fee, but it's worth it.
Just always have it on standby.
Yeah.
And so what's the probability of more companies accept you for business credit after your second round? I mean, it's like if no changes have been made to your credit. I mean, because they probably would have did it the first time, like your first round. So like, what's like the real, and I do know that people get more business credit on their second round, but what's the difference between their second round and their first round?
After the first round, you have to use more strategy. First round, just off your credit. Let's say, like for me, for instance, I applied and received $6,000 initially my first round. So I had collections, I had charge-offs, I had high debt utilization, 40%. So I didn't have pretty credit. So I kind of got business credit off the skin of my teeth. And then I talked my way up negotiations to $10,000. Like many people don't know, you can talk to these Bank of America credit cards companies or whatever, and that's for increases immediately. So I talked my way up to $10,000 after I received a card in the mail. Then that's why I use John Matthews as a resource. He's very smart. So that's why I keep telling the students, reach out to John, he'll advise you. So what John advised me to do, he said, all right, if you want another round one, this is what you should do. You should, what was the second step? You should apply for another business, a dummy business that serves no business purpose, and use that to apply for funding. Make sure you get your anchors removed, get this collection removed, blah, blah, blah. Did that, and I got $17,500 my second round. So I asked him again, so what should I do my third round? Then the third round, he mentioned, okay, so what you can do is you can file your company in other states, Pennsylvania, as well as Florida. So I filed my company in those states, and I got access to more funding. This time it was small community banks. They only went in those states. Got access to more funding. And then once I started having a business like 100% Finance, then I started applying for credit cards of my own, going to local banks around here. So I go to Fifth Third Bank, got some credit cards with them. In New Jersey, I went to some local banks there, Provident Bank, Fulton Bank, CNS Bank, I'm sure I remember. So since I kind of learned, I just started going to all the local banks in those areas. And also, 2 additional ways to improve value. So we talked about one way to get value is by buying it with built-in equity. let's say it's worth 100, we get on a contract for 80,000. What are 2 other ways to improve value?
Yeah, forced appreciation.
Forced to-
Ooh, who said that?
Shout out to Rudy.
Shout out to Rudy. That's what I'm talking about.
Let y'all know that.
I know everything, Rudy.
Yeah.
forced to-
So what does that mean again? What is forced appreciation?
Yeah, you lower the expenses.
Lower the expenses and increase revenue.
Yeah, that's how you make any asset, any business more profitable. You increase the revenue, decrease expenses, improve sales, reduce costs. It's the same thing. Whether it's real estate, a business, that's how you do it. That's called forcing appreciation. So when you reduce expenses and you improve revenue, the property's worth more. It'll be valued more. So I like this because this is something you can control. You can do rent increases on your properties. You can reduce your expenses too by how you manage it. Okay, what's the other way to improve value?
Market appreciation.
All right.
So when we call it forced appreciation, if you, it has to be like a reasonable rent increase, right? For
Yeah.
the market.
So what I put in my leases on the page 1, I put rent increase, bold. So you're expected, and you have to onboard them as well. So I'll just give them the lease, say, hey, sign a note. I'm gonna go over some certain points we have to talk about. So one of the things we talk about on the first page, rent increases. You would receive 3% off your rent as a rent increase, or $50, whichever is greater. But if you have Section 8, tenants don't care because they're not paying it. Section 8 pays it. And I'll be going over that in the
I'm
Pittsburgh
not about
event
to
too,
play.
about
My cousin told me.
Section 8 stuff. Like, this is where you go to see the rents. So Pittsburgh will be pretty much different content. It'll be more tactical stuff. This is the spreadsheet I use to verify the rents. This is the document I use to ask for rent increases.
There's gonna be some content we're going over this Saturday.
Oh, you mean for Pittsburgh?
No, this Saturday for the math class.
Oh, the math class this Saturday is going to be straight cash flow analysis.
Okay.
Yeah, straight cash flow.
All right.
All right, any questions about how to get out of business credit?
Done.
Have you used any other strategy outside of cash out refi to get out, or has it been cash out refi every time?
This right here. Cash flow. Cash flow, reinvest in it, selling the property, or other income.
Okay.
So for example,
Trap.
if you have a business, you use the business revenue to pay it down too, to be aggressive. But you want to have more than one strategy to pay it down.
Okay.
Great question. So you can just split the property if you want. Or you can, there's multiple ways. Another way is you can have a cash injection. So you might want to say, hey Alexis, you want to partner with me? You say, all right, cool, yeah, I'll partner. Hey Alexis, well, if you give me $16,000, I'll let you get 15% ownership. So I partner with her, put her name on the entity, whatever it is, LP, whatever entity we form. I take her 16,000 injection, and I can use that to pay off the business credit.
And when you say 15% ownership, what that mean? Like, give you that.
Meaning she owns 15% of the property.
Right, so what would she receive?
She would receive a part of the cash flow.
So
It could be.
15%. Got it.
Yeah, and you could change, but a straight line, it could be 15% or whatever we negotiate. I might say, give me 16,000, you own 15% of the property, but you only receive 10% of the cash flow. This is whatever we negotiate. But you can use a cash injection from a partner. What's the 3 things you bring to value when you're buying a property?
Sweat equity. Cash.
Said I was equal. I don't know what that was. Sweat equity. What else?
Capital and liability.
Liability and cash. So if I was investing with Alexis, and let's say these are the 3 things that provide value, and they were each 33% each.
She didn't do no sweat equity. She didn't do.
She just brought capital. Did she bring all the capital? No, she didn't. She only brought 16,000. What happened to this $64,000 mortgage? Did she bring it to the table? Nope.
So she only get 20%.
That's being generous.
That makes sense.
See, it's reframing people's thinking. Because most people from the outside, what, you use credit cards for real estate? What? Most people don't do the second and third order consequences. Many people don't think about, oh wait, hold on. So when I show this to investors, you're only bringing not even half of the cash. Right? What was that percentage? 16 over
20%.
over this? 20%?
16 over 8.
Well, what's 16 over? Oh, 16 over 8 says 20%. She's only bringing 20% of the cash to the table.
So
Right.
20% of 33. So 1/5 of 33. Yeah, 6.
Yeah, but
Whatever the math is right.
Seven.
But she's not doing none of the sweat equity. She don't have the real estate agents. She don't have the mortgage lenders. She don't know the process from A to Z. She don't have an attorney. She will not do cash flow analysis. So I will pick on the person by saying this to them. That's what I do with the one-on-one students. No,
You
because
pick
you.
on the people anyway.
No, I mean I know it sounds sort of savage, but you have to do that because they always think that they know more than you. Oh, if you know more than me, then why you reach out to me?
Exactly.
Why are you sitting down on my bed?
But no, why you doing it?
And I'm on
like
the
that?
stage.
No, I wouldn't do it like this.
I'll just ask
Right.
a question.
No. Let me tell you.
That's exactly how they said.
That's how they be. Yeah, but you gotta check them.
That's all
Right, and no liability. What's that mean, Casey? Liability.
Liability, so how much risk do you have? So if we were to get sued, how much would she be liable?
So their name's not on the mortgage.
Correct.
Yeah.
No guarantee to mortgage.
Yeah.
So giving Alexis 20% or 15% is generous.
Yeah, you really give her.
Double than what she should get. So this is one way I convert business credit to cash. So I get these offers all the time. Bank of America, they give you, it's called convenience checks. Some of them call them balance transfer checks, but at the end of the day, it's a check they give you. And it's 0% until March 2019. Cheap. So what I do, they only offer this for personal credit cards, by the way. Personal credit cards. So what I do is I'll take this personal check, convenience check, and I'll deposit it into my business checking account. So now I have $5,000 in the bank. But $5,000 is charged to my personal credit card. Just one
So
second.
is that why
Okay.
it's required to at least have a revolving credit limit of $5,000?
Yes, that's correct. Right. So you got it. So you guys are connecting dots. So I transfer $5,000, or sorry, deposit this into my account. Now I have $5,000 charged to my personal Bank of America credit card, and $5,000 in the bank. But you don't want that $5,000 charged to your personal credit card. So you want to call your business credit card company, let's say it's Chase Bank, and you want them to do a balance transfer. Hey, can you transfer the balance from my personal credit card to this credit card? Because I use that for business use. And they say, sure, no problem. So they transfer it. So now you have $5,000 charged to your business credit card and $5,000 in the bank. You have nothing charged to your personal Bank of America card now. You guys follow? The only downside with American Express, no balance transfers. So how you gonna transfer that balance from your personal card to American Express?
Could you like summarize that one more time?
Yeah,
Like,
can you,
Sure.
can you do
the
that?
personal balance.
I'll draw it. This is why I showed. That's why I want y'all to watch that video. I exposed all this stuff to D'Angelo.
D'Angelo.
That's what. Even though y'all said, don't be slinging your time like that, Juan, but he was able to ask me questions like, damn, I ain't never even thought about teaching this.
did you send
I
us?
said I think that's a must watch. That D'Angelo video. It's lengthy, but I think it's a must watch. We went over a lot of content.
Just for it to email the staff.
So let's say
It was sent to us though?
Send her a shot.
I say send it to the staffing. But yeah, I went over a lot of content with him one-on-one. So this is the Bank of America personal.
So, just to confirm, Bank of America is your personal credit card,
Yeah.
and then the Chase is the business credit card.
Yep. So I'll write here.
Pretty much you need a personal credit card that you can make liquid.
Yeah. So I have a personal credit card with Bank of America. That's why they send me these checks. All right. So what I'll do is I will deposit this check into a business checking account of $5,000. So how much do I have charged now to my personal credit card?
5,000.
5,000. And let's say I did this today, Wednesday. Now once it's deposited, And let's say tomorrow, I see that balance in my account. So I'll call my Chase business credit card and say, hey, I'd like to do a balance transfer. Transfer the balance of this $5,000 on my credit card over to here. So I might spend money on balance transfer fees. There's a few fees involved, but not much. So now I have $5,000 here. So that $5,000 is the transfer, right? So now my personal credit card is 0.
You can transfer balance.
Yeah. So I use a balance transfer. So now I have $5,000 to my Chase business credit card. It doesn't show up on my credit, and I have $5,000 in the bank I can use for real estate.
But what if you don't have a personal credit card that you doing this?
You need
What if you
repeat it
only-
again, Rashad.
Yeah, for our business credit, you have to have, that's why they want you to have at least $5,000 in personal credit.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's one.
that's the requirements.
Yeah, 1 year requirement.
A major credit card with at least a $5,000 limit. That's one of the reasons why for this.
You have
process.
multiple credit cards equal up to 5,000 or just one?
I prefer you to have at least one with 5,000. So it's for that purpose, but also for the purposes of business credit cards like the mirror what's on your personal. So if you have a $200 card here, 300, you get approved for small limits with bank with this. So that's why I tell all the students, do credit line increases every 6 months. So when they have huge lines on here, like my Bank of America, I think it's 26,500 now, my maximum limit. Simply because I keep asking for increases. So when I apply for business credit, they're like, whoa, this dude got a 26,000 card here. He has another big limit with Citibank. He has another big, you know what, let's match that. Let's start them off with 40,000, 60,000 right off the gate. Because they like to match or mirror the limits that's on your personal. Because they're kind of like, if you're faithful with the few, you will rule over much. That biblical principle. Where you're like, you know what, if this person can manage a large limit in a personal, they might be able to do that for the business.
So that happened on Wednesday, right? From start to finish, how long does that process typically take?
Great question. This can be done Thursday. That's why I put Wednesday. Just let you know. Because people say, oh, even though it says 0%, people say, oh, but if you use cash advances, which is a high interest rate, or because they might say this, I hear this a lot. Well, what if my personal credit card doesn't offer those convenience checks you just showed? You know, what if I have to do cash advance? Who cares? You can do the balance transfer tomorrow.
This is all converting credit to cash?
Yeah.
And if it was a situation where you needed 20 G's, you just have to do that 4 times.
Correct. Or unless they can do 20,000 on this. It just depends on the bank's limits.
Right.
So they have to call their credit card and ask them, hey, what's the max kind of deposit? Got to do the full amount available, or is the max 5,000? That's up for them, because I don't know that for every single convenience check. So that's the thing what I do is I challenge people and reframe their thinking.
Now, last question. It is a balance transfer fee associated with each one of those transactions, right?
For this one, yeah.
Okay.
But it's minimal. It's nothing major.
Yeah.
And typically for business credit, they might have some fees associated with just the transfer. They might have a different interest rate for that amount. But at the end of the day, in that other example I raised, you got access to $39,500 and you're just paying $51 a month. And you can use that towards a 5 unit. So when you do the cash flow analysis, you just subtract $51 or whatever it is, another 30. You might subtract whatever your minimum payment will be from the cash flow.
Do those minimum payments kick in like instantly? That very next, as soon as you do the balance transfer, 30 days next, those minimum payments
Yeah.
kick in?
Yep. That's it.
Well, as you can see, I walked you through how to convert business credit into cash, how to refinance, how to improve the value, how to calculate the cash flow, and more. I didn't just teach you how to get in the front door of a multi-unit property, because it's not all about the acquisition. You also have to be mindful of the management of the property as well as the exit strategy. So that way you can treat this like monopoly and buy properties again and again and again in real life by using the cash out refinances and the cash flow. Now, this real estate strategy works in certain markets, let's be honest. It may work in your market or it may not. But just like myself and Dwayne Monster, you may have to invest outside of your market. I've already located the good markets, so I've done the heavy lifting for you. However, I still share with you how to find the best markets close to your backyard as possible. Now, here's why you should never be concerned about investing outside of your backyard or using 100% financing. You got to have systems and teams and a solid exit strategy before you move forward with signing on a dotted line and buying a property. So that way you acquire a safe, affordable property with decent returns in a safe and affordable area. That's extremely important. We have the system, including the scripts, the templates, instructional videos, contracts, everything you pretty much need to see in multi-unit properties. And in regard to teams, we can share with you how to find them, how to screen them, how to build your own, or you can just leverage our team. Again, we've done all the heavy lifting for you. We kiss all the frogs to find the right prints. So you know what happens often, right? A guy goes out, starts investing in multi-units himself and says, you know what, like Dwayne Monster, I could really use your help investing in multi-unit properties using little to no cash out of my pocket. Having you do it with me will be a great resource. If you have some space available, I would love to talk to you more about it. With this model, you don't have to go out and try to get $1 million portfolio. Just like me, my focus was getting enough properties in my portfolio in which I can say goodbye to the 9 to 5. And the same with Dwayne Monster. And by the way, by the time you learn this system, you'll be able to perfect it. You just got to buy deals on a consistent basis, what I assume you're going to do. And you'll be to the point where you can analyze deals, finance these deals in your sleep and obtain true passive income. This is the fastest and most effective way to start acquiring multi-unit properties. Now, if this sounds appealing to you and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, Juan Pablo, this may help me build generational wealth, obtain passive income, build my portfolio so I can replace my passive income with paycheck. You know what, I'm interested because this may help me become financially free in no time. Then you should really consider moving forward with the Multi-Unit Acquisition Program 2.0 or the MAP 2.0 for short. So I want to help you, since this is my company's mission and my personal mission as well, to help over 100,000 real estate investors become financially free. That's the reason why I do all these trainings, all these videos, all these webinars to help you get to that point of financial freedom in a short span of time. Now, if this is where your mind is going right now, then you should really enroll in this class, right? So we should work together. It's not just you doing it by yourself or us doing it just for you, but we're doing it together. Now, this stuff I'm showing you right now is just the tip of the iceberg, my friend. It's a lot more in depth. And when you take this class, I want to help you identify what we need for you to accomplish. We're going to find out specifically how much money you need to make off your multi-unit portfolio to say goodbye. Give your boss the peace sign. Peace out. Give them a 2 weeks notice to your 9 to 5 so that you can be happy, feel fulfilled, and just like me, actually discover your purpose in life. So let me tell you this. Once I became financially free and quit my day job and I just had my rental portfolio, I had enough freed up time available at my disposal to really do some soul searching. I would think to myself, well, Juan, what are you going to do with this excess time? Of course, you know, hanging out on a beach on a beach chair is nice with a pina colada in your hand would be wonderful, but that would get old quick, right? You're on this earth for a reason, not just on a micro level where you might be helping your tenants find good properties, but what about on a macro level, Juan? What's going to be your thumbprint on mankind while you're here on this earth? And as I'm thinking about that, it really hit me. You know, because I was, don't get me wrong, I was worried about quitting my 9 to 5, right? Because when I was about to turn in my 2 weeks notice, I felt excited but scared at the same time. And I started to convince myself, you know what, Juan, maybe you should stay at this job a tad bit longer. Maybe you should raise more capital and do more deals. And maybe you should have bigger reserves before you quit, even though I reached my financial freedom goal. And it hit me. You know what, Juan? You'll be doing mankind a disservice on a micro level and a macro level. On a micro level, it could be that one person who really needs his job and you're still occupying the seat when you know you shouldn't be doing it. You know you should be investing in real estate full time. So why are you still staying at this job? You're robbing that college student, that single mom, or whoever else needs his job that you don't need anymore. I said, secondly, on a macro level, I'm robbing society of my God-given gifts. I'm not If I stayed at that 9 to 5 and I still invested in my spare time in real estate, then I wouldn't have the time to do all these trainings in which you can just take it and implement it so that you can be financially free. When I had that epiphany, I definitely made sure that I took the right action, and you should too. So, but we'll also, just getting back to it, we'll also determine the perfect markets and teams you should be working with, even if you don't have the credit or the cash as of today. You have to first get your mind right, learn the game while you're getting your cash and credit in order. Plus, we'll game plan with you to make sure you find the money to invest in multi-unit properties. So here's what we'll go over in the Multi-Unit Acquisition Program 2.0. So we'll go over the 5 pillars of the cash flow cycle. That's find the money, find the deal, perform due diligence, close, including that exit strategy, and repeat this cycle so you can buy properties over and over again. Now let's talk about find the money. So just give you some short and sweet information and we'll tackle all the costs involved to do a multi-unit deal, how much money you need, what you can leverage to get the capital you need, what mortgage lenders you can reach out to, because we have that as a bonus for those of you who need help getting pre-qualified for a mortgage, and making sure you bring your financial docs to the table, get this prepared. Next pillar is find the deal. How to find, screen, and convince deal finders to do deals with you. How to analyze deals, sending letters of intent, offer letters. Also performing deal analysis and so forth. And more importantly, finding the right market to do deals. And those documents come included with it, such as the letter of intent, promissory notes, as well as purchase and sale agreements. Now, the next pillar is performing due diligence, where you dot every I, cross every T, you make sure you trust but verify everything that relates to the income and the expenses on the property. I would hate for you to not learn this stuff and buy a property and not perform proper due diligence. It's extremely important to verify everything. And if something does look fishy, we share with you how to negotiate credits on your behalf. So that way, when you close, you're bringing a lesser down payment to the table. And the last part of the pillar, the next pillar is close, right? You close on the property, you do the closing checklist, you make sure you have property management in place if you decide not to manage it yourself, and you make sure the HUD, the settlement statement is good and clear and accurate. And then you focus on the exit strategy, on how to perform, to increase the performance of the property so that you can do cash flow, cash out refinances and be able to eat larger amounts of cash flow. And you want to repeat this cycle over and over and over again to the point you're financially free. Now, this one simple strategy helped many clients, right, obtain thousands of rental units since I've been investing in real estate for 10 years. Now let's talk about you. You've been watching these trainings, right or wrong, you're watching these trainings. You've heard how this works, and you know multi-unit investing could be a great way to get passive income in your portfolio so that you can say goodbye to 9 to 5. So if you're someone who can help people and deliver great value in any marketplace, you might be wondering how you can implement the tactics and strategies I just shared with you quickly and easily. So certainly, multi-unit investing works. Just look at the top investors out there doing deals, and they're marketing outside the market. And that's why you're smart to deploy this in your spare time. Okay, just listen here. I'm not going to get all hyped or try to get you all hyped about what this is or how this can help you. You listen to me. You heard my story. You've been on the other trainings, and now you know what I'm saying can help you. So what I want to do is this. I just want to go over exactly what's in the multi-unit acquisition program, the MAP 2.0, and how it can help you. And if it's a right fit for you, then I want you to get it, right? So I'm going to do this without fanfare and without the hype. So what I just showed you is the exact system I use to personally obtain multi-unit properties for cash flow. And if you'd like me to help you implement everything we've gone over, then I'd be delighted. And here's how we'll do it. I've created the simple training experience for you called the MAP 2.0, where I literally break down and complete buy and hold system and walk you through how to get cash flowing multi-unit properties under contract. And here's what it'll do for you. So you'll learn how to set up your multi-unit business so you can get flooded with deals. You'll also be doing this by using our simple but effective scripts, templates, contracts, deal analyzers, blah, 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 letter of intent, training videos, and more. So you can have all the resources to start building your portfolio in no time. You can learn how to get the capital, analyze deals, invest in more profitable markets, and so forth. So here's what I want you to do next. So naturally, if you implement everything I shared with you, you'll see amazing results in your portfolio. And that's why you should invest in the MAP 2.0 just now, right? It's just $997 or 2 payments of $597, and you can get access through multiunitacquisitionprogram.com. And if you get access today, I'm going to give you the bonus of allowing you to gain mentorship with my team and I for as long as you need to close on your first deal. If you wait until later, then you'll have to pay more. And if the bonuses aren't enough for you, then you get your money back and keep the online resources. You can keep the scripts, real estate documents, promissory notes, ebooks, deal analyzers, and letter of intents. And if you wait until later, then you'll have to build your portfolio from scratch on your own. So this opportunity is specifically designed to help you attract motivated sellers, analyze multi-unit deals, leverage capital from investors, structure your buy and hold contracts with ironclad contingencies just in case you need to back out, work with those who know what they're doing in the industry, make cash flow every month, be a real estate investor in less than 90 days. If you want another stream of passive income, then this is specifically for you. The multiunitacquisitionprogram.com includes training videos, scripts, contracts, processes, content, and coaching, just like how Dwayne Monster got his coaching. And if you join our program, we'll do it with you and help you with your deals. You'll learn how to invest in real estate to the point you can do it on your own. The multiunitacquisitionprogram.com also includes our online training course, which is called the Multi-Unit Intensive Training. We have a series of instructional videos which educate you on every step of the way to buy investment properties, real estate resources, case studies for deal analysis, access to more capital, and a closed group for limited Q&A, deal presentations, community, and so forth. And do you want our lenders, our mortgage lenders, so you can get pre-qualified for a mortgage as a bonus? That's included as well, because we have residential, commercial, and low doc lenders who are willing to work with you. And guess what? We train them how to work with our clients, and they're extremely familiar with the MAP 2.0 and our MAP 2.0 clients. So you definitely want to be able to get this mortgage lender contact information as well as how-to content so you can learn more about investing in multi-units. So you're getting the exact same system I personally use as well as Dwayne Monster personally used to buy cash flowing multi-unit properties virtually. Now the price, the contracts alone cost me more than $997 to create with an attorney. The time you spend finding the right lenders will cost you probably more than $997 of your time. The time you spend with a coach in multi-units will probably be more than $997. The MAP 1.0, so some of you guys may be familiar, costs $8,500 upfront. The MAP 2.0 is equally, if not more valuable, and it's way more affordable. It's $997 or 2 payments of $597, but it gets better. The first 10 people who order will not only have the opportunity to get mentorship, but you'll get my master lease option course and contracts that are included with it, and my private money course with the promissory notes included as an added bonus, which makes the deal so much sweeter. Now, here's what I want you to do next. Go to multiunitacquisitionprogram.com, enter your information, check your email because it could have went to your junk or spam folder, complete your login details for MIT, and join the closed Facebook group. So if you want to finally start obtaining passive income through cash flowing multi-unit properties and have more than one source of income, start building your portfolio so you can leave your 9 to 5 and turn in your 2 weeks notice and leave an inheritance to your kids and close on a multi-unit property in 90 days or less. All you got to do is go to multiunitacquisitionprogram.com. But it still gets better. The best ever guarantee. If you don't like it in 30 days, keep it and get your money back. As long as you follow our process and put in the work, you will close on the deal. But it gets even better. Get access to our lenders so you can start making money, and our MLO and private money course. The MAP 2.0 is raw and unfiltered. We bear it all. The bonus one, just to recap, access all our resources and group mentorship. We bring guidance. We provide you with lenders and contracts. We do it with you. And bonus 2, you get the master lease option as well as the private money course as well. Now take advantage of the opportunity to be an owner and join our live training sessions. and you cannot miss out on the 30-day money-back guarantee. There's no multi-unit training out there that teaches 100% financing, especially for multi-units out of state and other markets. We can only host so many people in the live training sessions, and I plan to raise the price this week. Warning, assuming there's availability next week, I can't keep it at this price for long. So you watch this entire presentation, you want to close multi-unit deals and earn a profit, and you know this is of excellent value. So go ahead and take advantage of this great discount, the amazing bonuses, and the can't lose guarantee now. multiunitacquisitionprogram.com.